some, death is only the beginning. A soul promised to fiends by way of contract cannot find rest nor peace in death. Other unlucky souls are bombarded with unholy energy until it twists and mutilates the soul into something unrecognizable. Something that desires to extinguish our life to soothe its anguish. Welcome back to A Compendium of Monsters. It's Wraith Week. Before we continue, whisper sweet nothings to that subscribe button before you punch it in the face! And punch that f***ing Wraith too. It's a terrible idea, but I choose violence. Wraiths are challenge level 5, and they're certainly 5 for fighting. These medium undead have an armor class of 13, average hit points of 67, a speed of 0 feet, a flying speed of 60 feet that allows hovering, and dark vision out to 60 feet. As is typical of undead, Wraiths know all languages they spoke when they were alive. The main difference is Wraiths can actually speak, instead of grunts, grumbles, or the clacking of bones. Wraiths resist acid damage, cold damage, fire damage, lightning damage, thunder damage, and non-magical weapon damage not made by silvered weapons. They are immune to necrotic damage, poison damage, and the following conditions: charmed, exhausted, grappled, paralyzed, petrified, poisoned, prone, and restrained. Well, this is quite a laundry list of things for a challenge level 5 creature, but this is why Wraiths are almost always mini-bosses for low-level parties. Wraiths have the incorporeal movement ability, which allows them to move through other creatures or objects by expending double the amount of required movement speed. If a Wraith ends its turn inside of an object, it takes an average of 5 force damage. Just be aware that if a Wraith were to dash, it could feasibly move through 55 feet of solid objects before it has to consider taking damage. Don't hide behind the fighter. The Wraith is gonna get you! In a somewhat expected twist of fate, Wraiths have the sunlight sensitivity detriment. Any Wraith caught in any brightness of sunlight has disadvantage on attack rolls and perception checks related to sight. As if you were going to catch a Wraith in any amount of sunlight, but it's useful information to have if one of your party members has a sun sword. Please remember, despite its terrible name, the daylight spell does not produce sunlight. A Wraith's only attack is to use its life drain action, which deals an average of 21 necrotic damage and forces a constitution saving throw. If a creature fails the saving throw, its maximum hit points are reduced by the amount of necrotic damage taken, and a creature whose maximum hit points are reduced to 0 in this fashion dies immediately. The effects fade after a long rest, but you should probably worry more about surviving the encounter first. Piggybacking off life drain, a Wraith can use its Create Spectre action. This no frills action allows a Wraith to target a creature within 10 feet of it that has died a violent death in the last minute or 10 rounds. The target's spirit rises as a spectre under the Wraith's command, and a Wraith can command up to 7 specters raised this way. If you were to throw a Wraith and 7 specters at a party of 4 adventurers, it is considered a deadly encounter for up to a level 7 party of 4. At level 8, the encounter is downgraded to hard, but yikes. The only thing not accounted for is the spamming of fireballs against the specters. If I saw a Wraith and 7 specters bearing down towards me, I don't care what damage they resist. I'll throw the kitchen sink at them. Wraiths are created in a confusing, convoluted fashion. When a mortal humanoid lives a debased life or enters into a fiendish pact, it consigns its soul to eternal damnation in the lower planes. However, sometimes the soul becomes so suffused with negative energy that it collapses in on itself and ceases to exist the instant before it can shuffle off to some horrible afterlife. When this occurs, the spirit becomes a soulless Wraith, a malevolent void trapped on the plane where it died. Almost nothing of the Wraith's former existence is preserved. In this new form, it exists only to annihilate other life. Yeah, you debasers, you better watch out! My problem with this text is there's contradictory information present. Souls claimed by fiendish pacts are immediately shunted to their respective domains to repay the other party, i.e. the devil, demon, hag, etc., who gave up power in exchange for eternal servitude. Why would these beings make contracts and give up tokens or significant portions of their power if there was no guarantee they would get the soul at the end? Also, let's talk about this negative energy bullshit. Negative energy originates from a surprisingly simple source, the negative energy plane. Yeah, it's literally that simple. However, negative energy doesn't just exist on the material plane without causing some pretty severe consequences, some of which can be observed in the Dungeon of the Mad Mage module. If we were to assume most created wraiths had some kind of contact with the actual negative energy plane, then there's the additional complication that souls exposed to the plane create one of my favorite creatures instead. Nightwalkers. If you ask me, wizards should have taken the extreme vengeance route they did with wights. Naturally, there's more contradiction in the immediately subsequent paragraph. A wraith might retain a few memories of its mortal life as shadowy echoes. However, even the strongest events and emotions become little more than faint impressions, fleeting as half-remembered dreams. A wraith might pause to stare at something that fascinated it in life, or it might curb its wrath in acknowledgement of a past friendship. Such moments come rarely, however, because most wraiths despise what they were as a reminder of what they have become. This is such nonsense. Either the wraith does not remember its previous existence, or it does. Given the wraith remembers all languages it spoke in life, I say you should lean more towards the wraith remembering enough of its previous life to suffer similarly to a wight. A wraith curbing its wrath in acknowledgement of a past friendship is huge, especially if you're a dungeon master who loves roleplay opportunities. Anyways, what do you think of wraiths? Let me know in the comments below. A special thank you to my incredible patrons. And thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that subscribe button, smash that like button, share my video on your Twitter, Facebook, or other social media, and make the leap to become one of my patrons on Patreon. I'll see you next time.